What's going on, folks? Oh, you see the thumbnail. Man, I've had the pleasure of listening to listen to some YouTubers, some content creators, and it's it's mind blowing, folks. It really is. It really is mind blowing. Um, I'm just sitting here doodling. You know how you hear some shit and you just in class, or if you was in high, we all been to school, and you just hear some bullshit. You just get to doodling, like you're not even in the classroom. You just write. That's how I felt when I listened to a certain YouTuber. And this brother, he always, we sound so much alike. I'm not going to shout him out or anything like that. You can draw your conclusions. But, and there's two in particular. And because I do listen, truth be told, I do listen content creators in passing. Painless has been out. Painless was in, I was in Chattanooga. I was in Dallas. I was chilling. Had a little did a little vacation, did a little traveling. Posted up, checking things out in D-Town and Chattanooga. Just having a good time. Eating some good eating some of that good Texas brisket. Alabama. See, the thing about Alabama is, we're known for our pork. In Alabama, we cook some of the best food on the planet. And everywhere, when I meet women and they be like, "Oh yeah, I've been to Birmingham, I've been to Mobile or Montgomery." They're like, "Oh yeah, Alabama food is good," and it is good. But we see in Alabama, our barbecue, we specialize in pork. Okay, we don't really do brisket like that. We do chicken, of course, but we specialize in pork. Pork, that's what Alabama is known for. But anyway, so I'm back now. And I've said this before, gentlemen, ladies, I said this before. I've said that straight black men, straight heterosexual men who are about the business of not only bettering themselves and just doing various easy stuff, like going to work, having your own place, having your own bank account, having your own vehicle, being able to transport yourself. A lot of women are scared of that. And this is not a dating video, because I've done dating videos in the past. I've talked about my experiences being a single man. I've done this years back, maybe 4 years ago. And I said, hey, let me share with my viewers about what Painless is going through since his divorce. But this is not that. I've said that society, American Western society, not only in America, Westernized society, they have no interest in a straight heterosexual black man who's about the business of handling his business. To them, he's boring. To them, especially disingenuous female white liberals, he represents what she's trying to get away from. And I'm going to show you, I was watching this show. And I already knew the gist of it. I watched maybe like 10 minutes. I think it was on HBO. I forget the name of it. But it had Draymond Green, had Tom Brady, had that girl Chelsea, who 50 Cent used to, make a touch of toes. And they were all on this panel. And I could quickly see the flow of this. It's the same old thing I've always been saying, folks. The white man in Western society, we're going to narrow that down to America. Because when we talk about westernized culture, we can go from Australia, we can go to, of course, Europe. But we're going to narrow this down to Northern America, United States of America. The white man's burden. And, that is an old clause. The white man's burden. Look it up. And I'm not going to go into that. Many of y'all who have followed me for years know I've done videos on that slogan, that term, the white man's burden. And as a man, first off, as a man, men, I'm speaking to men, we have a burden as well. There's a male burden. You don't get to complain. You are just a vessel. You are just an actor in this game called life, where you're expected to provide, not complain, do what you have to do, die, and that's it. And I'm somewhat low key, I can get with that. Not so much as just, use me and kick me out to die, but in terms of the, not complaining and do what you need to do. But yeah, I watched, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes of this, and I quickly saw where it's going. You had Chelsea on here, I forget her last name, who used to, sleep with 50 Cent. So she already has this Mandingo Chronicle jungle fever fade mentality, to where she's surrounded by black men, athletic black men. And here you have Tom Brady amongst all these guys. And when the guys were lauding and showing their appreciation for Tom Brady, all these athletic black men that she would sleep with at the drop of a hat were giving praise, low-key praise and low-key shade to Tom Brady. You could see the disdain in her eyes and in her face. You can see it. And it was interesting to watch. And that, to me, was just a very small snippet of societal views of white men and what white men have been able to attain. Now, Painless, you sound like a coon. You sound like someone who is really caping for white men. And I will say this: someone said in that little fireside, that's what I call it. Sitting around talking whatever. She said something about middle-aged white men. And Tom Brady, I know you would have Tom Brady's intelligence to do the things that he's done, to be cerebral, and not that he's. Aside from his accolades, okay, 7-time or 6-time Super Bowl champ, whatever, but not that that's anything, that doesn't make his IQ level, shooting out the roof, But I know when she said, nothing to talk about, what's really in nowadays is to talk about middle-aged white men. And she looked at Tom Brady. And Tom Brady did what a guy with Tom Brady, he, it was a shit test. And he brushed it off successfully. And, but I know in his mind, he knows, this is where we're at. When you attain a certain level of success, when you can do shit and you can back it up, people shun that. And I've spoken about this so many times, folks. Go back in my videos. I've said that we're living in a society to where we're living in a society where you can live up under a roof with your brothers and sisters and cousins, and everybody gets the same damn message. Go to school, get a good job, stay your ass out of trouble, and be successful. Not everyone's going to retain or do that. And only in America, no, I can't say only in America, but the idea that we all got this same goddamn message, and I go out and do what the hell I'm supposed to, and certain family members who got the same goddamn message I got didn't do it, and I'm supposed to help every damn body. See, this is the trick. See, when you don't do that, now we're in a conundrum, folks. When you don't do this, you're looked at as the bad guy. You look as being selfish, uncooperative, not willing to help the overall group. And I say to you is, if we all got the same goddamn message, where is the dishonor in the people who didn't do what the fuck I did? But see, it's not like that. Well, panelists, where are you going with this? I look at Tom Brady, and people like to shit on Tom Brady. I've heard so many black defensive players talk shit about Tom Brady, even though they don't have shit to show for it. This man has taken some of the most vicious abuse from these said defensive players and has come out on top. So when I look at this and see with Tom Brady, I like winners. I like winners. I don't like complainers. Many of y'all, I'm pretty sure many of y'all know that about me. I do not like whiners. I like winners. I like people who are able to, just to come up from underneath their, mishaps and the disadvantages that are thrown at them. But it got me to thinking, this is the white man's burden. When you have a white woman, and this is what I'm about to get into, who has this buck, this whole buck, lustful mentality, to where if you're a straight heterosexual black male, and you represent, and this is what this YouTuber, and this is why I say this is, it's refreshing to hear, because when I heard it, I was like, oh, thank goodness. There's somebody out there that thinks somewhat like me. You see, when you are a straight black male, like I said a moment ago in the beginning portions of this video, you're boring. And many white women who are out here with the signs like, well, don't be, you know, if you like black, whoop, whoop, you know what I'm saying? Don't be quiet about black issues. See, to a dusty Negro who is laying in wait, who has nowhere to go, who is a dusty homosexual, he will look at that at face value and look at it for what it is. But the reality is that women like that require you to be just what you are, a dusty ass nigga. Why these disingenuous white females out here with the various colors of hair, and many of y'all know I've said this. I've been talking about this since that whole Occupy Wall Street. I've told you that they were nothing but a bunch of trust fund babies who were taken out of the trust fund or were teetering, and now they're out here in tents with the gauges in the ear, tattoos on the face, bull ring nose ring, multiple colors of hair, with the ripped stockings and the goddamn Doc Martens on, with a fucking mangy ass skirt. So this is, look, I've been saying this shit for years. But again, that disingenuous white female, she looks at you, brother, as nothing but a toy. She looks at you nothing but a toy, a get off. And I've always said this about black subculture in the so-called black community. I've said so many times that, you know, yeah, you had 18, 17, 16-year-old white kids listening. I remember this. I remember 16, 17-year-old white kids that lived across town that listened to F the Police and, you know, you know, rolling down the street in my 6'4". But you know what? You know what? When they got to about 19, when you're supposed to start somewhat adulting, they stopped that shit. But you know what? Tyrone and Quisha are still doing that shit up into their goddamn 50s. When Joey and Becky Ben jumped off that fucking train. And they want you to stay there. And I can't hone on this enough. A straight hit, brothers. If you don't listen to anything what I'm saying, a straight I think that sounds kind of like the same. A heterosexual black male is shunned and is becoming rare. But don't stop. Don't stop what you're doing. And I've said this, and I'm going to show you why. Remember I talked about that OnlyFans shit? These chicks are making 60 grand a month. You know, they out here getting it. But you know what? I've said this. All that goes up must fucking come down. And look, they're about to pull the lifeline of these women who have been capping this whole damn pandemic, making money hand over fist. Well, pillars, they making money. I'm not hating. But what I said is that if you're going to make that money, utilize it, save it, put it into some cash-producing ventures or entities. But what also did Payless say? I said, you know what? Anyone that would get on camera and show their face in this society, this global society, to where nothing goes away, you're not very smart. There's people who on here who make commentary. They can never go to work for anyone. Tommy Sotomayor, he can never go work for anyone. He couldn't. Kevin Samuels, he could never go work anywhere. Now, Payless, well, you can make other income other than work. Yeah, I haven't said. Show me where I said that. The point I'm making is you can be in too deep. They got to ride that shit out. And, I say all that to say that is these women who were doing that shit, these women who were making, women making 60 G's a month. They can't go work nowhere else. I mean, they could go work in the entertainment industry, which, that's going backwards. That's going backwards. They ain't gonna make 60 G's a month and fucking making Brazers videos. Making Brazers videos, What's another one? What's another company? I forget. But yeah. And I said that shit. I said that shit ain't gonna last. If you smart, you've done something, you would have stacked that bread up, moving into some some stuff that can generate some income, some investments, to have money working for you while you're not working. But I know the caliber and the mentality of these people. They're not doing that. They're capping and they doing this shit just for short gain, and they have no long-term plan. But yeah, just to get back on, with brothers. Look, black men, and you see the thumbnail, unless you doing shit like that, nobody really want to check with you. Sisters don't want to check for us because they're like, nigga, who are you trying to be? Talking all this leadership and take charge. You would think that's a good thing. No, because she's in fucking competition with you. And I've said this before. I can't tell you how many sisters I've ran into, and I told them what I do, and they like, oh shit, I can't control this nigga. Or they come into my place, the very few times I invite women to my place, and they're like, oh shit, can't put this nigga out. He'll come slap back to this, and it looks better than my shit. And that's what we are, folks. It's black men. It's damned if we do, damned if we don't. And I don't compete with no woman. I let my shit speak for itself. I hit the gym at least 5 days a week at a minimum. That's, brothers, let me say this. And when I mean brothers, I'm speaking to black men, but all men can use this because I know I have all types of men. The best thing you can do for yourself, better yourself. Stay out of these bars and clubs and these high visibility areas. Hit the gym, take care of yourself, and let someone choose you. That's the best thing I can give to you. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. But it's like I said before. I said this, that a straight black man that is, it's about business. People are not checking for that. They like the non-exes, whatever this fool's name. They like that. And, every time and the reason I know about this because I was with a woman and she was watching it. And every time I see that BET Awards, it's a marker of how degenerate the so-called black community is. And then when you get online and you see the comments, it's like black folks when they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to have my kids watching this anymore. I didn't think they would have something like this. Well, what the fuck you think has been going on? Black folks get this shit to where I need to see it in writing. Like, they can't see all the bullshit that's going around that's contributing to the degeneracy of your so-called community. Like, oh, you had to see this black dude, kissing other black dudes on the lips on national global fucking TV. Now you want to pull away. Now it's a big deal. Now it's, oh, I'm done with BET. Nigga, this shit has been going on forever and a day. And black folks are always late to the goddamn party. I was looking at the comments on Facebook, well, I guess I'm done now with BET. No, nigga, no, you're not. This like you was all them black folks saying, oh, I'm done with Paula Deen. Oh, I'm done. Niggas next month down there line the fuck up for her goddamn mac and cheese in Savannah, Georgia. Get the fuck. You know what, black folks, I've said this, only thing black folks can do is sprint. They have no stamina, no cardiovascular stamina for a long-term marathon at all. And, like a brother said, it's just, you see the shit stick dropping further and further into the delves of shit every year in the so-called black community when, it's like, nothing really surprises me anymore concerning black folks. Nothing. And, I'm not going to get into Juneteenth. That's a whole, I just, man, I tell you. But, I look at Tom Brady in that. What does Tom Brady represent? And what does Lil Nas X represent? Violent LGBT. And you have black folks up here capping for LGBT rights. It's interesting. I can go on in that. But, I'm going to cut it up. Enjoy the video, folks. Painless out.